Yo, what's going on everyone, and welcome back to another MechaBreak video. Today in this video we're going to be looking at the new dev notes that they dropped earlier today, and we happened to take a look at them as soon as they dropped, and it was some interesting information, good quality life changes that we want to make sure we are telling everyone about. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So they start off talking about the dev note that they are bringing out a new custom pilot. The new ace recruitment will be Welkin, and the pilot, I think is the way you pronounce it, is called Rowie. That would be the pilot, and we are supposed to be seeing soon a animated short with that. So be on the lookout for that if you guys are interested. Kind of curious to see what this will look like, and the animation and all of the perks of having this one too. Curious, this one probably is going to be, unfortunately, one you have to pay for, not one obviously in the battle pass or in the shop. So something to keep an eye on to see how quickly they are adding more skins. I'd be kind of curious how often are they going to be doing this. I kind of wanted to make a balance between have one in the battle pass and one to purchase. This seems like they're going to be pumping out a lot more in one season. Next, as we go into the notes, we started talking about matchmaking and execution here specifically. Now, so big quality life changes is in rank mode right now. When this update does go live on the 17th, I think it is, or Thursday, they are temporarily disabling 4-player and 5-player queues. So if you queue up as 4 players or 5, you would not be able to queue, unfortunately. You could queue with 6 and 3 or below, but 4 and 5 you cannot queue with. Now what they're doing is they are trying to get rid of the stacking. What's happening is, and I was surprised to see that they actually touched this very quickly. A lot of people since season 1 was talking about this. That was an issue. They were solo queuing to Verge, and they were just getting steamrolled by big giant groups of players all working together. So now what they're doing is they're prioritizing that solo play with solo, and those who are grouped play with group, which is a good quality of life change for sure. But those who are queued as a 6 stacks, you will have to wait longer time frames now to potentially be getting with other people who are 6 stacks. Now I assume that after a certain amount of time of 6 stacks, they might go and do like maybe 2-3 stacks instead, versus having it where you are queuing up against solo queue players, which is really nice. Like I said, good quality life change. This is temporary. They're going to disable 4 and 5 players together, but it looks like they're trying to remove that whole stacking solo versus a stack. So again, good quality life change. A lot of people talked about this. I wasn't sure if they're going to touch this. I was hoping by season 2 they should have fixed this, and they jumped on this really quickly. So that I do commend them on that. Also, talking about executions, we are looking at, they're going to make it where when you execute, you do have a Corite Haze that appears. Alright guys, if you don't know what Corite Haze is, it's pretty much Stego's first ability. Pretty much you can't be targeted. So this will allow you to have some immunity to lock on, and also not only that, but it also regenerate your energy and your fluid shield as well. Doesn't mean that you can't still get them. You can probably still aim down the sight and still shoot them, but they are going to regenerate their fluid shields. On top of that, if you're a melee, you can still hit in that area. It just, you won't be able to completely lock on. So those indirect ones won't, and indirect hits won't hit them. So this allows them to actually do their execution. Now, I was in the chat when they were talking about this down below, as soon as this dev live note went up, and had a few chat with a few people, and I will say that one thing that was interesting that someone brought up, I think the name is Chudel. They recommended that if they're going to make execution, that they make it a reason for you to execute. Now, the problem is with execution, a lot of people feel like that is very toxic. It's like the equivalent of teabagging. Now, with that being said, I think one way they can correct that negativity about that is the person that is being getting the finishing move on top of them, they won't see it at all, but the person who does it still will see it. And make it where you have some benefits to this. So what they recommended was give them a longer time frame when being respawn, while you're waiting to respawn. So instead of waiting those 10 to 15 seconds, you're now waiting an extra few more seconds. So normally it's about 10 seconds for you to get back into a match once you once your striker is destroyed. So now you might have to wait a couple more seconds. And I thought that was a really good idea, but I can see execution still being toxic for a lot of players. I don't mind it, but I know a lot of people will get offended and will see that this is very toxic. So one way they can potentially do this, like I said, is so that the player being executed, that they don't see the finishing move being done on them, but they would know because they're having to wait another few more seconds. I think this is a really good change. Something like this, I think, would be really nice to test out on casual matches to see if that's something that people will like or not, and letting the community fill out a survey saying yes, they like it, no, they don't like it, or they're indifferent about it altogether. But I think this should make it a way to have some sort of benefit if you decide to go with the execution. Just to make everything clear, the execution is specifically on Operation Verge. This is not talking about Mashmak, at least from this wording, because as you see the next paragraph, they're going to Operation Storm next. So this is specifically for Operational Verge. So again, I would like to see this implemented down the line. If you really want us to do some execution, I think those would be some good tips on that. If you guys have any ideas on that, what they can improve specifically on how making the execution better and making it worth it, I think it'd be nice. And the biggest huge change that I think a lot of people were talking to me about is now those who wanted to do covert operation, which is the PvE only, you are no longer needing a full 3 pilot team to launch the covert operation. So it looks like you can potentially do this solo. Keep in mind that the restricted zone will still be the same difficulty, and so will the ads to be it. So keep that in mind. They will be a little bit challenging. So if you happen to go against a Hellcat, you might need to be really, really strong with all the legendary weapons and gears to be able to do it by yourself in that certain time frame. But this is extremely huge. I know a lot of people have been wanting to do covert operational plans and having to either look it up as an LFG group in a Discord or having to hit the recruit tab and type in recruiting. Now you're able to actually go ahead and just go about doing it solo. I would still like to see down the line a matchmaking option for those people who wanted to matchmake and potentially converse with each other, trying to do the restricted gold key if they needed to. If you can't for some reason do it by yourself, I would like to see matchmaking down the line for this, hopefully before Season 2 ends. This is a good quasi-life change. Again, you can solo queue, potentially go into covert operational plans, which is covert operational missions, so that's going to be really awesome. So I know a lot of people have been asking for this. This is good to see. Lastly, they added to Mashmak is cargo rockets will no longer trigger randomly during combat. They are clearly marked on the map. Complete the location and countdown timer gives you more freedom to plan your routes and focus on your goals, whether that's to completing achievements or something else, which is really cool because this would be random. You would be in the area and you fly away, and then someone would see that, hey, look, there's a cargo ship here that you can put 3 inside real quick, 3 items. So now you're going to be able to see it. You know, where's it at? You're going to be able to complete the missions or objectives around it and be able to use a cargo rockets. So that'd be pretty cool. Now you can actually visually see the maps. We will be looking to potentially be doing soon a Mashmak beginner's guide. There's a lot of information to go with that. So if you are interested to see a beginner's guide for Mashmak, stay tuned. I'll be looking to do it. It's going to take me some time because there's a lot of information, both the regular PvE and also the covert operational plan. And everything else that goes with it, the mods, we're gonna have to do that another video, how to use everything. So there's a long video to go with that, so bear with me. If you guys are interested, hit the subscribe button to be alerted when that video goes out live. Another really good quality life change is now they're gonna make adjustments where pilots can now unlock additional slots using their credits, which is a really good. Now, inventory has been one thing that I started to notice more and more as I keep playing with Mashmak. I noticed how I can quickly run out of space between paints and other things you want, the mods, the parts and stuff like that. You can easily run out of space. So this will be really nice to see that you can be able to increase your inventory. One of the biggest gripes I have in Mashmak when you are farming around and looking for loot is I would like to see them condense all the paints into one versus having all 9 slots or plus whatever to be completely blocked out by one paint can or one paint canister. I would love to see eventually it all condensed. That would be a good quality of life change while you're out there. So if you are farming for paint cans, unfortunately you have to have them all separated. You know how much of a pain in the butt it is. And the reason you farm for the paint is because you want to see if you can get a legendary paint and either potentially use it or sell it for whatever X amount of money in credit for that. But that would be a great quality of life change that I would like to see inside Mashmak for the inventory while you're inside those matches. Now they also tweet. Now they also teased a little bit that they're going to make some tweaks to certain strikers, but they didn't talk about that at all. A lot of people were kind of curious to see, but we should probably be getting an actual patch note within 24 to 36 hours. We should be getting a patch note when it comes to what tweaks were made to certain strikers, who's getting buffed, who is getting nerfed. So stay tuned. We will be making a video for that as well. But that's pretty much it. This is a huge quality of life change both in operational Storm and also operational Verge. Both not worrying about stacking and solo queuing make it so much easier. I'm interested to see what they do with the execution. I would like to see it, like I said, I would like to see it be worthwhile and kind of go with some ideas. If you have any ideas, leave it down in the comments down below. Seeing the changes that they made for Mashmak with the new boss finally coming out and also being able to solo queue the PvE operation, which is a really, really amazing idea. And then lastly, the cherry on top is the additional inventory slots you can have by using your mission credits. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.